What does a typical home look like in rural northern Vietnam? What is life like here, and what is our community like? Is there a big gap between the rich and the poor? Hello everyone, I'm Chu. Let me take you on a little tour of my world. First off, please allow me to share a little bit about myself. I am 75 years old, a retired senior citizen, and a proud father of two children. My daughter is married and lives quite far away, so she rarely gets to come back and visit. Currently, I live with my wife and my son's family. I feel truly blessed to have four wonderful grandchildren, two boys and two girls. The place where I was born, raised, and still live to this day is a quiet, peaceful village in rural northern Vietnam. To kick off the day, we always start with breakfast. Around here, breakfast is all about convenience. It has to be piping hot and packed with energy to start the day right. Many people love eating at sidewalk stalls or from street vendors. In my village, the go-to breakfast options are beef or chicken pho, various rice noodle soups, savory sticky rice, steamed rice rolls, bun cha, or the famous banh mi sandwiches. But as for me, I usually prefer a simple bowl of instant noodles at home. It's actually my favorite breakfast, and I could honestly eat it every single day. A bowl of noodles cooked with a fresh egg and a few stalks of water spinach from our garden is the perfect choice for me. After fueling up for the morning, my wife and I tend to our vegetable garden and the chickens together. Later today, a friend from our village came over to drop by and visit us.
Nhân ra này. Thế cô Hoan Nhật Hà Nội không này?
Hai mấy con. Ăn đi. Now that our necessary morning chores are all wrapped up, I'd love to take you along to see the village where I was born and raised. My hometown is a quiet rural area where farming is our main way of life. Years ago, this place was surrounded by vast open rice fields. However, about 23 years back, our local farmers began turning the less productive rice fields into flower gardens. This small shift ended up bringing much better economic value to our community. Back in the early 2000s, my wife and I also worked the land growing both rice and flowers just to put our two children through college. Looking back now, those days were filled with hard work, but they are also filled with some of my most beautiful memories.
Mình nghe thì nó mới nhanh hết ngày.
This is a rice field over here. It was actually harvested about 2 weeks ago. Right now, the farmers are letting the land rest and gain its strength back, getting everything ready to sow the seeds for the upcoming crop. Some of the folks around here grow crops like corn and sesame mostly for their own meals or to feed their livestock. After the harvest, they just lay them out to dry right on the corners of our village roads. This right here is a local men's barber shop. Today, my grandson is getting his hair cut. A haircut here is quite affordable. It costs about 40,000 dong for adults, which is around $1.60, and 20,000 dong for children, or about 80 cents. Right next to it is our village community center, the heart of all our public gatherings. Our little village has about 250 households with a total population of around 1,000 people. The children around here don't have many fancy places for entertainment. They usually just gather in the neighborhood to play soccer or fly their kites. This is a grocery store in my neighborhood. Inside, they sell just about everything you could need, from dry goods, vegetables, and fresh fruits to candies, drinks, and even fertilizers and gardening tools. It's only about 150 feet, 50 meters away from my house. Mom and pop shops like this are very common all over Vietnam. This is the view looking down from the river embankment onto our village. You can see a few men just taking a little break and catching up with each other at a small roadside tea stall. From here, you can get a good look at the typical architecture of the houses in rural northern Vietnam these days. Most of them feature flat roofs or sloped roofs styled after Thai and Japanese designs. Where I live, you will almost never see anyone forced to sleep under a bridge or out in the marketplace. The main reason isn't that everyone here is wealthy. Rather, it is thanks to the tight bonds among neighbors, the strength of our family clans, and our beautiful tradition of the intact leaf shields, the torn one. To ensure no one is left behind, we have two major community funds dedicated to helping those facing housing hardships. The Gratitude Fund and the Fund for the Poor, also known as the Great Solidarity Fund. The Gratitude Fund directly cares for the material and spiritual well-being of those who served our country and their families. It also finances the upkeep of our local memorials to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. This right here is a house built by our local Fund for the Poor to support Miss Dung. She lives all by herself with frail health and is unfortunately not as sharp as others. Our philosophy of settling down before building a career seems to run deep in the blood of Vietnamese people. You see, we don't just build houses for the living, we also build them for those who have passed away, believe it or not. Right here is a typical cemetery in my hometown. Every time someone passes, their family builds a resting place for them here. We believe that death isn't the absolute end, it's just moving on to live in another world. In fact, some folks who are financially prepared even choose to set up their own resting place well ahead of time while they are still with us. This right here is our village loudspeaker. It's a classic communication device we use to share local news, daily reminders, or important announcements with everyone in the community. It's also our main way to send out quick alerts for bad weather or any emergencies. Today, the speaker is broadcasting news about a special campaign to speed up the search and identification of our fallen soldiers' remains. Even though the war ended over 50 years ago, many of our brave soldiers have still not made it back home to their families. This deep effort is our way of honoring those who gave everything for our homeland. Now, I'd love to invite you to take a little tour of my family's home. This is a fairly modern countryside house with the typical features of our village. Today, housing architecture in rural northern Vietnam is a nice blend of modern convenience and traditional elements. Even though our land is a bit limited, we made sure to keep a small front courtyard for parking or hosting large family gatherings. The house is built with a sturdy reinforced concrete frame to withstand our heavy storm seasons, along with modern materials like aluminum glass doors. My son actually built this house for us back in 2023. Before this, our family lived in an old house that my wife and I built ourselves in 1991. It had grown quite old over the years, and my son told us he wanted his parents to live in a much better, more comfortable place for the rest of our days. So he took out a bank loan to build this home. Right now, he still owes the bank a remaining balance of about 300 million Vietnamese dong, which is around $12,000. The bank automatically deducts a portion of this amount directly from his monthly salary. Over here, my son is just sweeping the floor. Moving inside, this right here is the bedroom my wife and I share. I keep my little medicine cabinet right next to the bed so it's easy to reach my pills during the night. We use an air conditioner to stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Also, I always hang up a mosquito net before going to sleep. In humid areas like my hometown, mosquitoes can easily get inside, especially after a rainy day. It only takes a few seconds to set it up, and then I can enjoy a truly peaceful night's sleep. This is our main kitchen area. Even though we have a dishwasher, my wife still prefers to wash the dishes by hand and let them dry out in the sunshine. We also don't use a clothes dryer here. Instead, we always hang our laundry out in the sun. Even though line drying can fade the colors a bit faster, I really love the fresh, crisp scent of sun-dried clothes. Plus, the natural UV rays do a wonderful job of killing any unseen bacteria in the fabric. Let's step outside and take a look at our backyard garden together. Out here, we grow our own vegetables, raise some chickens, and have a small pond to tend some fish. This area right here is a traditional wood-burning stove that I set up specifically to cook feed for our chickens. Right next to it is a small storeroom where I keep our dry firewood and all my gardening tools. At the very back of our property is the fish pond. On those nice cool afternoons, I often like to sit right here and do a little fishing. Heading back inside the house, today my daughter-in-law is preparing a fairly popular dish in my country. My family absolutely loves this meal. Let me introduce it to you. I will leave all the cooking steps right here as she makes it. If you can find these ingredients where you live, please give it a try sometime. This dish is called nem chao. The main ingredients are pork from the pig's cheek and the ears. After washing it thoroughly, we need to slice the pork as thinly as possible, just like my daughter-in-law is doing right here. The spices include garlic, lemongrass, lime leaves, and galangal root, which is a more aromatic cousin of ginger. After washing everything thoroughly, the lemongrass and lime leaves are sliced very finely. As for the garlic and galangal, they are finely ground to a paste. Once all the slicing is done, it's time to mix in our seasonings. We'll add about 1 to 2 teaspoons of sugar, a little pinch of MSG, and just a dash of black pepper. We mix and squeeze the meat gently by hand so the flavors can soak in beautifully, and then we'll toss in the rest of our fresh ingredients. After mixing everything together, we'll let the meat sit for about 5 minutes so it can absorb all those wonderful flavors. While we wait, let's go ahead and prepare our dipping sauce. You see, a good dipping sauce is truly the soul of this dish. We'll dissolve a little sugar in water, then add a splash of fish sauce and a squeeze of fresh lime juice. Give it a quick taste to see if the salty, sweet, and sour flavors are balanced just right. Finally, we'll toss in a bit of minced garlic and chili. Just look at that. For a perfectly balanced sauce, the garlic and chili should float right on top of the water. Now we come to our final step, which is adding the toasted grain powder, or what we call thing. Let me tell you a little bit about it. This powder is made from a blend of grains like rice, sesame seeds, soybeans, and mung beans. Everything is roasted over a very low flame until it turns a beautiful golden brown and smells fragrant inside and out. After that, it is ground into a fine powder. Now that our flavorful thin is ready, we just toss it into the seasoned pork and mix everything thoroughly. And there we have it, our nem chow is all finished. When it's time to eat, we take a little bit of everything and wrap it gently inside a mix of fresh leaves like fig leaves, dinlang leaves, sweet herbs, and stink pine leaves. After that, you just dip the wrap into the sauce we made earlier and enjoy. Please come join my family for dinner. As usual, right before heading to bed, I take my blood pressure, have my Herbalife supplement, and turn off the lights. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video, which will be out in 2 days. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss out. Wishing you all the very best, and see you again soon.